Well, I was at the old Pro Bass store the other day, and looking around, I saw something that I just couldn't believe, and that was a $50 dog dish. $50 dish for your dog to eat or drink out of. And that got me to thinking that I guess I'm behind the times, so it's time to do something about that. We just can't have this. So today's the day, buddy, that we are going to make your dreams come true. There. Now, we have a $50 dog dish too. I bet you'll like drinking out of this so much better. Here we go. Look at that. $50 dog dish. And he loves it. I guess I was wrong after all. Yep, that's right. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and today we're going to try to wrap up this 1755, at least get the oil back in it and have it where we can run it around and test it. I just came back from town earlier and got our new hose, which replaces the original steel line. It had that nick in it. So we're going to get that slapped on, and then we should be ready to put the oil in and see if we have any more leaks. So here we go. Well, that's not it. Sure. Is it this one? No. Here. Just like Goldilocks. This one is just right. I hope that is clean in there. I looked at it, but it seemed like it was. We got that. Now we'll go down to the bottom end. Boy, you can see the mess it left on everything before we fixed that other line. Just from sitting. It dripped out of there all over this priority valve. So alright, we want to start out somewhat dry so we can tell whether or not we're actually accomplishing something, because it's starting to feel like we're not. This has taken way longer than I wanted it to. Alright, let's go see about putting some oil in. Now we're ready for everybody's favorite game, putting oil into a 55 series tractor. I feel like I do this every day. I wish I had my air pump up here so I didn't have to do this, but I guess I'll just go with it. Fun times. That should be enough to get us going. We'll top it off later. Oh, now it's time for our other favorite game. Let the air out. So we'll do that again. Oh, you can really hear it sucking air there. So we'll get that all bled out. Then we'll try to fire it up and see whether we accomplished something. There, we got that. But we made a boo-boo already, getting too excited. I did not put these hose clamps on here, so I need to run down and get them and put those on, because that will not work too good. Okay, I saved myself from extreme stupidity, luckily, because that probably would have sucked air pretty bad. I don't know that for certain, but I'm just guessing. And we already have a problem, I see, because something is leaking down below. We obviously cannot catch a break. What is leaking? Well, shiza. There's your German word of the day, Doug. Oh. So let me show you what I just discovered. And I started to freak out that my new line was leaking, but then I found it's this brake line that's leaking. And look, it's dripping all over this new line and running down. So this line has to be fixed too. What to do? I can get to it there if I take the sheet metal off. But I'm gonna have to get a piece of tube here. Man, that brake line is just Swiss cheese. It's got holes in the top. Huh. We're gonna wedge that in there for now. And we'll get us a piece of new line and try to fix on that. But that definitely has to be fixed because it's not gonna work like that. Okay, so I'm back from town. I got some new line. Hopefully we can replace this brake line. Ideally, I'd like to make it in one continuous piece and just go all the way back there. They have put a new end on that end, but the less splices, the better. So we gotta get the sheet metal off here in order to get there, because we gotta get behind here. So it shouldn't be too hard, but you never know. Amazingly enough, it still has the thumb screws in it. There we go, one bolt finger tight. That's what I was hoping to see. That's about correct. Now for another episode of Impossible to Get To, because this is what we want. That's too big. Does it fit that side? It's too big for both, so that's fine. So we need, let's try 5/8 and 9/16. Okay, 5/8 on the hose, or the other half of the line, and then 9/16 on the bottom. And let's see if I can do it one-handed here. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I think I did. Okay. Now it's almost sure to drip the whole time, right? Because it was dripping. So we should probably work quickly. I don't know that it will empty the whole reservoir, but it's certainly possible. I guess once it gets a good siphon going, or however. Okay, let's start and just take their union apart they put in and get the front half of the line off and see what we got going for us here. Boy, that drives me nuts to see that dripping in there. Oh, this is very not good. Okay. Now, I believe if we just cut off this tube, we can reuse our nut and our piece there, because it's still a flared end, you see. So we just have to put that on ours. I also want to go, I don't know if you can see back far enough, but they had it down here and then it goes under and it's like sandwiched between the frame and these other return lines, which I can tilt you up to see. It's behind here, and I don't like that because it's going to rub a hole. I want to try to go kind of like over top, I think, or some way where it's going to go here and then down, so that it's not impossible to get to. There's no reason to make this more difficult than it has to be. There we go. When in doubt, it just broke off. But I'm still not enough where I can pull that off. I'll probably have to go to the grinder to get enough. I don't think I can do this, but maybe. I don't have any way to hold the tube. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Maybe that was enough. There. Well, that's kind of what we want. Okay. Well, it's obvious that it's not going to be long enough to do in one run, so we might as well cut off our other piece, but we will make it easy to get to is what we're going to do. Okay, so we got that on there. Now we just got to maneuver it in there. We're going to have to put a 90-degree bend on it. This does 1/4, 5/16, and 3/8. So we want a fairly tight bend, and we hope that that's enough. Stick that through there to start with. See about getting it mated up to something. Okay, so it's the next day. Yesterday just did not want to play nice. It was one thing after another, including camera batteries keep dying. So I got the new brake line on. You can see it down there, and it makes its journey up here, and the floor will lay on top of it, and I like that a lot better. It comes down through there, it's not touching any of this, and then it comes down to our brake, and I think we're gonna go with that. Also, it has been almost 24 hours, and it has not dripped and made a mess of any of this like it was doing. So I think we have all of our leaks fixed for now. I did have the tractor running after I got that brake line on, and the pump sounded horrendous. I think that after fixing all the leaks, and since we put that shim in the, or took the shim out of that relief valve, those pieces, it just was loud and generating heat. The relief valve was blowing the whole time, and I worked and backed off the compensator here to where it wasn't blowing, and then kind of readjusted it to where I think it needs to be, which interestingly enough, somebody put a punch mark on it, which corresponds with a punch mark up here. So I'm wondering if it didn't get turned in over time. You know, as it started leaking and losing pressure, people were turning it in, trying to get more pressure out of it. Because like I said, way back when we first started on this years ago, it had a tremendous amount of leaks. I mean, it leaked everywhere. So, you know, each time we work on it, it seems like we get a little bit better than it was. So I hope now that we got this situation handled. I need to hook up gauges to it and check it and readjust the pressure and shim the relief valve and all that stuff. But I remembered that I broke my gauge last time I was working, so I ordered another gauge so I can hopefully hook some stuff up and check it, and then we'll call that done. So for now, in order to make some progress and not just be doing nothing, I got a bag full of goodies to keep going. I want to change the transmission filter while I'm in there, because that'll never get done if I don't do it. And then they wanted the lights working, and if I get that done, then I can you know, bolt this floorboard back down and be done with this. But I noticed something. We worked so hard to try to get this out from where it was pinched in between everything. And then yesterday, well, I've moved it now, but I saw that this wire, the whole harness, has been laying on top of the chain coupler. So I would say that it's probably toast. And there's a wire on each one of the plugs I see pulled out the back. So I think I'm just going to start over. I'm going to try to tie onto it up here, in the part that goes up here, if it's good. If it's not good, then I guess I'll run a new line all the way to the switch. I really didn't want to have to do that much, but to me it seems like we're just wasting effort trying to reuse this now, because it is, look at that. Everything on there is going to have attention. So I think I'll just go ahead and run new wires back to both fenders. I might get the test light and see if I can get anything out of these wires. But somebody else has been in here doing wiring at some point, and so it's hard to say what is what by now. I mean, we're gonna give it our best effort. I think I'll get these pulled out of here and then just use the test light and see if the switch actually is doing something to this here, and then I can just tie on and go. But we'll figure that out in a minute. I guess I'll start with the filter so I don't forget to do that. Everything is covered with a nice wet dew, and it's going to be very hot and humid again. That kind of weather is coming back in style, I guess. So that'll be dandy. This is one of those things that might as well do it now when we're thinking about it, because it's never really easy to get to. But, and you see the last time it was changed is 2019 or 2017. I don't remember when it was that I worked on this transmission. I know we changed it then, and I have a feeling that's probably this filter. Well, let's try this. Let's just take the filter off and leave the wrench in place, since we can't seem to get it without it. There. Sure. Let's go around and around and around and make it as difficult as possible. I probably amplified this problem with this brake line. I don't know that I should have probably given a little more room, but it's livable. Okay. Oh, sure. Very slippy. Okay, we'll get our hand in here. Oh yeah, okay. 3/4 turn, sure. And then we will put our new date on here. And I don't know what day it is, I'm just gonna pick one. It's close enough. I'll put it even here, just in case that gets unwiped. All right, that part's done. Let's go on to our incredibly frustrating wiring situation. Okay, so I'm afraid that this is just about done here. So let's just snip these some way or another. And that's out of the way. Okay. Now, we gotta go around to the other side and get that free from wherever it's trapped at. Actually, I can probably just reach through, because it's all wadded up down here. I'm really surprised that the chain coupler did not grab this and just rip it to shreds. Well, there's one end with 3 wires. There we can see where it's been rubbing on the chain coupler. So that's junk. Let's see if we can get it pulled out where we can somewhat manage it. Because I'd like to be able to tie on to it if possible. It's going to be a trick if this works, but and this is junk here from the rubbing. So let's cut that off. Okay. Bye-bye, junk wire. Okay. Yellow should be our headlights. Blue should be our red tail light. Green should be our flashing light. Just operating off the top of my memory. We'll spread those, and I guess we'll go get our test light first. Okay, so we're gonna start by turning on the switch. Wait, okay. There, I got some tail light. And with the tail light, I should have my flashing light. However, up here at the thing, it's rotted off, so we're gonna be going in the dash anyway, but at least I got headlight, tail light on that side. Let's see if I can. I got headlight. Ooh, red light is also hooked up. Why is that? I got everything and I shouldn't have. Okay, wait a minute. Dang it! My test light jumped away. Make sure, okay. Let's try our second position of the switch and see if anything goes out. Second position, headlight, no tail light, red light. First position I have tail light, next position it goes out. But I have headlights in both positions. Red light, or red wire, which would be tail light, in both positions. No, tail light goes out. No, okay, I'm right. Well, I think we got stuff we can work with. We know that the wire's good up to the switch, so even if we have to end up going into the switch and rearranging wires, we still know we're good till there. Our I guess we might as well pull this off because our hazard flasher did not flash. So, and we're missing a wire, so I guess we will investigate that problem too. They replaced it with a manual temperature gauge. And then we got this kind of deal going on here with a wire to nowhere that's broken out of the back of the gauge. So that's nice. We've got our green down to our switch. And where is our wire to feed it? Here's our original temperature gauge wire, brown. That's our homemade clutch safety switch. And it doesn't look like we have a wire that comes over here to feed our flasher anymore. Homemade fuel gauge wire. What a cluster of interesting things taking place. There's our light for our 1 gauge that was trapped behind something else. We'll table that for now. This homemade water temperature gauge I don't know about. Okay, red wire. Was our red wire the one that originally went to our flashers? However, then I don't believe it will come on with our blue. Let me double check this. Yes, I have it there. I have it not there. 2 positions. Okay, sure. So this one's going to be our wire to our flasher, which I guess doesn't matter because it looks to me like there is no flashers, so perhaps that is not important. I've got a flasher. What are the chances that works? Probably none. This should have 2 flashers from the factory, but it doesn't. That's interesting. This is a very early 1755. Perhaps it did not have flashers. Okay. So, in that case, on this one, our blue wire is going to this white light, and our red wire is going to the flasher and to the tail light there. That's very interesting. And I don't remember what I said went out with what. The tail light and flasher's on all the time, and that'll be super annoying. So I think we're going to want to switch those two so that the blue one is on in both positions, and then the red one goes out, and that'll be fine. I think we're on the downhill slide here of what needs to happen. I think I'm going to run, well, that doesn't work. We need to run a wire over to this. So we'll do that, and we'll get our wiring underneath done, and then we'll be able to close the floorboards up, hook up the fenders, and I think we will have a chance of lighting. Well, I think we're going to wrap up this video here, even though we didn't get done, because it's getting pretty long, and I actually have to leave again. So, as always, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next part, and hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. That all helps the channel out. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.